It is Tuesday, July 17th, 2018, 4:03 p.m., 25 degrees outside, it feels like 27. Relatively warm, but there is a wind, so it's been warm over the last week. But I leave for a week and a whole bunch of stuff changes, so I figured I'd make this little vlog. I'll talk about it as much as I can, if not I'll continue later on. But the first thing I want to talk about, just really quick, I guess I'll just focus on this for now. So I talked a little bit a while ago about how I wanted to go research some of my beliefs and figure out why I think certain things. And one of the things that I researched a few days ago was marriage, and I tried to figure out why I don't want it, or if there was any sort of reason that I could find as to why I should get married. Because, like I said in that video, mom and dad's relationship growing up was kind of weird and kind of turned me off of marriage. And just as I got older, I just kind of on my own, I was like, what is really the point? Like, why do I need to get married? So, in doing my research, it reaffirmed my position that I don't want to. Like, for a while, I've been thinking, like, maybe if I find the right girl and, like, if she's like, look, if we don't get married, I need to get married, I'll leave you if we don't. I was like, okay, whatever, I'll do it. But, like, now it's like, no, I don't want to at all get married. Like, if that's the case, then unfortunately me and that person have to break up. But because yeah, I don't. There's no point. Literally, the only reasons that I saw to get married were financial, so tax related. And the thing is, those tax benefits, they don't really come into play unless my spouse or I aren't making the same amount of money around. So if we're in different tax brackets, that comes in handy. And I'm like, I don't care about that. There was something else about RRSPs that apparently, like, I can offload, or she can offload hers into mine or mine into hers, and there's less money we take, or less taxes we pay when we take it out or something. And there was some other stuff that didn't really matter to me. Like, there was literally no benefit. There was no benefit that I saw that was like, oh wow, like, if I get married, I get that? Nothing. There was nothing. There was no appeal to marriage for me. And when I looked into common law, a lot of it was pretty much... I guess it wasn't pretty much the same. There was some similarities though. Like, one of the things that I learned about common law that I didn't know was that if you break up, if you're common law relationship and you break up, you could still pay spousal support or alimony. And the reason for that is it's very rare, but apparently if, like, for example, if you guys have a kid and that person and your spouse is no longer working and you're supporting her, then you'll be expected to pay that. Or if you just were supporting, maybe they got laid off and you were supporting them for a while, you'll still be required to pay that. I was like, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I figured, like, once you break up, it's done and it's over. And then I started looking into things like prenuptial agreements, or what are they called in Canada? I think they're just called marriage agreements. I think prenups are, like, the name for American versions of it. And I didn't find anything that said they were, like, expire after a certain amount of time, so that was good. But one thing that I saw that I was like, that's actually a good point, is that prenups are made typically, if let's say you're going to be together for 20 years and then you get a divorce. That's 20 years of a different person that you are. There's a lot of experiences and things that happen in that time, and things you do and things you get together in that time that you didn't even think of putting in the prenup beforehand. And that's like weird, because it's like then all that extra stuff is not accounted for in that prenup. It just, yeah, I don't know. It's the prenup. Like, maybe if you're together for like a year or two, like, yeah, I guess the prenup in that case would be helpful. But overall, it might or might not be beneficial to get it. And I didn't really see a point to that. Another thing that I also, one of the things that I guess it was like, in terms of marriage and common law differences, one of the things was that, for example, if my spouse were to die in a marriage, I think it's like I would either immediately get, like, all their, like, because, like, I'd be entitled to their stuff, whereas with common law I would get none of it unless I was in a will. And then I was like, okay, well, if me and my common law partner are together for a long time, like, I would want to get a will. Like, I want to get a will now. So, like, I'd definitely be on that. So, like, I don't need to own all their shit as soon as they die. And I'm sure we'll kind of figure that out with a will or something. In terms of, like, something like health benefits too, apparently, it might be a little bit more difficult to get benefits in some cases because it's going to be not just for you. It's going to be for your wife. So you getting benefits, like health benefits, you might get rejected because your spouse is actually has some sort of issues and stuff, and they don't want to cover you for certain things, so they don't want to cover you at all. And that was interesting to find out. I didn't know that. I don't think there is anything like that with common law. I know with common law you definitely can have benefits for your spouse. I'm sure there's some limitations, but I don't really see any at the time. But like when you apply for benefits, it's for you. So that was cool to see as well. But when it came to a divorce, I looked into the difference between. I personally, from hearsay, heard that men get screwed a lot in divorces, and I guess from just researching, it turns out that that's not necessarily true. It's kind of like split down the middle. That it's just kind of a case by case basis. Like some guys do get absolutely screwed, but I didn't know this, but apparently women also get very screwed in divorces, and I guess it's just not very talked about, or I haven't really heard about it, but it's also, I think, in terms of like Google searches alone, women actually search, it's like 3.3 million searches for how often do women get screwed in a marriage, and like 3.1 or 3.2 for men on that search. So that was interesting. I didn't know that. But yeah, the divorce process, like that was like, I hated that. I was like, if to get a divorce, I think it's like almost $1,000 in just court fees, but then you're gonna add lawyer fees if there's additional court dates, and just anything else that needs to get added. That's all gonna add up, and the average cost of a divorce is about $12,500. And this was all Canadian statistics. And I think so. Basically, there was a range. It was like, I want to say 3,000 to 74,000, but average is 12,000. And I was like, wow. I do not like if I'm getting divorced, like if I want to break up with someone, like I just want to be able to break up and leave, not have to deal with divorce and all that money that goes into it. Like that's so obnoxious. Like I don't want to do that. But in terms of marriage itself, the thing that I thought was such a powerful quote or saying or whatever is a couple things. So one of the things was that apparently there's evidence that suggests that people. For a lot of people, marriage is like a social status symbol, and it's like a goal they have in life. And it's not that they married the one; it's just the fact that they got married. And for those people, it's like in some cases, I don't know if they work harder, but they feel that connection or they feel that bond. I don't know, it sounds so weird. They feel that bond or attachment or commitment to one another more because of the fact that one, there's a legally binding contract, and to get out of that, it's a hassle at times, like I said, with the divorce and all that stuff. But secondly, and this one I didn't even think about, most of the time with marriage, there's like a lead up to it. So like, it's public, right? So the marriage, you have a public marriage. You announce your thing on social media. All your friends and family know about it, and your marriage is in person with all your close family and friends. Your honeymoon, you share that with your family and friends. And for these people, it's almost like an embarrassment. Like they don't want to get divorced because they spent all this time advertising and all these people are there. And it's like, it's just embarrassment that so they'll stay together and they'll feel that, or they'll feel almost more committed rather. Not that they'll stay together, but they'll feel more committed to each other because of the fact that it was so public and so known. And it's almost like this embarrassment thing. I didn't think about that. That's actually a really good point. And I was like, okay, well, and that article asked, like, what, for marriage for you, like, is marriage a social status symbol for you? Like, do you want to get married? And I was like, no, I don't care if I get married. I don't need to get married. For me, it's not like a social symbol or anything like that. So that was kind of a very key key point, I guess, in my research. But the last thing was the argument of, a lot of people say that, you know, if you don't get married, you're afraid of commitments. You don't want to commit to that person. You're afraid you're going to break up. And this was probably my favorite thing that I read, is that like the article was saying this, like they would rather leave the door open for their partner to leave whenever they want, but stay because they want to, not because they're legally obligated to. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. That is a perfect quote, because I don't want to get married, and I don't think me not wanting to get married is a commitment issue. I just don't see the point. I think it's pointless. I don't think serves any value to me as a person, to me financially, to me economically, to anything like that. It doesn't serve any purpose to me. I don't care if I get married. And I'm not gonna get married because I don't care. Like, I don't want to get married, and I don't care if I never get married. And it was like, I want to have that relationship with someone where, like, and you can definitely have this when you're married. I understand that, or to a certain extent rather. But I think that more so with a common law relationship, it's that door is open. If things aren't working out, I don't have to be like, oh, I don't have to think like, okay, so my options here are go through a lengthy divorce or just continue fighting for this. Even though we've beaten our heads against the wall for years and years and years, it's not working. We've gone to therapy, we've done all these things and it's not working. What am I supposed to do? I guess I'll just stay together because I have to be divorced, or because I don't want to be divorced and I want to have to go through that. Whereas with a common law relationship, it's like, okay, look, we've done everything. We've been doing this for a couple of years. It's just not working. Let's just go our separate ways, and that's it. You split, you're done. Sayonara. And I like that. I like being able to. I don't think anyone in a marriage works harder to keep a relationship. I think both common law and marriage work the same amount. But I do think that in a marriage, you're almost more likely to stay together for reasons such as I've been mentioning in this video. So, like I said, I want my partner and I to be in a relationship because we want to, not because we're legally obligated. I want us to work through things because we want to, not because we don't want to get a divorce. So for those reasons, I don't ever want to get married. And I don't think my mind will change, but who knows? Maybe something will happen. I'll meet a person or something maybe. I'll read something that just changes my mind completely, or hear a different opinion or something. But yeah, that's something that I'm really happy that I researched on, and I'm really happy that I have kind of specific reasons as to why I don't want to get married. So that's that. 12 minutes, wow. There is a few more things I want to talk about, but I will save them for maybe tomorrow. We'll see how I'm feeling tomorrow. But quite a bit has happened. So, I don't know quite a bit, but a few things have happened, so I'll talk about those in the future. Anyway, see you later.